Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another transfer news video. First things first, guys, make sure you smash the likes, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Remember, if we get to 8,000 subscribers before the end of the month, there will be a giveaway. So make sure you subscribe if you haven't done so. And let's dive into today's video then. And of course, nothing much going on with incomings, but in terms of returning players, Chelsea have recalled Cesare Casadei from his loan move at Championship table toppers Leicester City. Came as a bit of a surprise to everyone, to a lot of Chelsea fans. Casadei is set to take a place in Pochettino's first team squad. He made 25 appearances and scored 3 goals for Leicester, who, as I said, are currently top of the Championship. Now, this doesn't really make an awful lot of sense to me. But Fabrizio Romano adding that, Chelsea believe that Casadei is ready to make an instant impact. Now, I'm not sure whether it's true, how true that is or not. I think what's clear is that he's not going to go on another loan. He's going to obviously come to Chelsea to get some sort of minutes. Cesare Casadei will start training with training under Pochettino today as Chelsea decide to recall him. Understand club believe Casadei has huge potential and can help the squad with immediate effect. Now, if we're looking at the midfield situation at this point in time at the football club, obviously we've got Enzo, Caicedo and Conor Gallagher in those positions. Andre Santos is at a pre-Olympic tournament with Brazil. Yes, there's Castle done in the academy, but he hasn't been trusted with any first team minutes. He's made the bench on a couple of occasions. And then obviously you've got Leslie Ugochukwu and Romeo Lavia. Now, for me, this maybe looks like Chelsea doing something like Ugochukwu has been reported by Nizar Kinsella. The injury is a lot worse than has perhaps been let on. Romeo Lavia, we've got no idea when he's been coming back. We're kind of kept in the dark about that. There's no updates or anything along those lines. So rather than signing another midfield player this month, I kind of get the point of maybe recalling Casadei to get some sort of minutes from the bench and just be an extra body in the squad. But at the same time, surely he would have been better off staying at Leicester, playing semi-regularly. He wasn't starting every single week, but, he was an important part of that squad. Would he surely not been better off doing that rather than maybe getting some injury time minutes here and there? I just don't see him starting any games over the second half of this season. I very much see him there as someone that's just going to make the numbers up. And in an absolute emergency, if we need another body, if someone goes down injured or whatever, then he's going to play. I mean, I'm also wondering whether it's linked with the fact that Leicester are very close to signing Stefano Sensi from Inter Milan for €2 million, a midfield player. He would obviously take another competition for Casadei in that midfield position. Maybe Chelsea are thinking, as I said about the injuries to Lavia and Ugochukwu, let's get him back. Let's use him as an extra body. Yes, he had some height. Yes, he adds good goal-scoring threat in terms of heading ability and aerial. But, obviously that Sensi signing does add more context to Casadei getting recalled. But Chelsea are reporting that he's explicitly joining the first team squad and not going out on loan again. So I'd be really surprised if we plan on using him. His form this season's not been amazing. But if we are, then he has to get minutes. He has to get minutes because otherwise, at least from the bench. Otherwise, he might as well be out on loan. If he's literally just going to sit on the bench and play no minutes or not make match day squads, then it's pretty pointless. He can definitely, for sure be a source of goals, especially with his head, which, as I said, we don't have much aerial prowess in the team. But he doesn't offer an awful lot else. Well, at least compared to kind of, other players in the squad. Yes, it's got nothing to do with freeing up a loan spot because Casadei wasn't taking up a spot. The only loan spots that matter are obviously those international loans where the player isn't club trained and isn't under 21. So Casadei being under 21 means that he doesn't contribute to those loan numbers. But I just don't understand the decisions. I just don't really get it. Yes, we've only got 3 midfield players, but how likely is this guy really going to play? It sort of just feels like we're a little bit lost. We don't really know what we're doing with our planning. I mean, how many loans have just gone to shit, basically, from the start of the season? Andre Santos has had to be reloaned, had to be called back. Dacio Fofana's loan to Union Berlin, had to recall him from that one. Kepa's loan at Real Madrid is not going particularly. I guess we're not looking to develop Kepa or anything like that, but that's another loan deal that doesn't look to be going very well. That's just 3 off the top of my head, in terms of loan deals that, there doesn't seem to be much thought put into it. Are we actually doing due diligence on these loans? Are we actually, finding these players clubs where they're going to play at a good standard, they're going to play regularly, and it's going to help them develop and get important senior minutes. Because right now I'm struggling to get my head round what we are doing with this loan stuff. You know, he was having a decent loan. He started the last 4 games and he was learning a lot. I'm excited to potentially see what Casadei does, but it's not making an awful lot of sense to me on any level. You know, he's not played that well this season. He's not really shown that he's of championship level to play regularly. But then again, as I said, he started the last 4 games, so he was getting somewhere, and then he comes back. Why couldn't we just use someone that's already on the books? You know, why couldn't we use, for example, Golding, the 17-year-old, or why couldn't we use Leo Castelline? Why couldn't we do that? You know, I get it that Casadei could potentially cover as a number 10 with Nkunku out. The other option is that maybe a midfielder is going to leave this month that we're not aware of, and he's coming in as cover. Or we've recalled him and we're going to sell him, which I don't think is likely. But yeah, I just don't really understand what's going on here. It just feels like there's not really much of a coherent plan as to how to develop these younger players at this point in time. You know, it very much feels very, very slapdash. I'm not really too sure. I don't really know what's going on here. It's a really strange one. You know, it's unexpected and it feels the wrong thing to do. It really does. It really does. You know, if he actually plays a lot, it's great, but it opens up, you know, a lot of other different questions that needs to be answered. And, you know, this is where you can get into things like priorities and whatnot among the decision makers. I think it's clear that Poch probably wants some more. You know, he wants some more height. He wants some more reliable body so that he can run, you know, high quality training sessions, you know, for the 13 or so outfield players that he trusts. And maybe right now he's not too fussed about pathways or opportunities. And then the sporting directors potentially have a responsibility to the manager, but also to the players, academy, and the club launch. Stuart or Winstanley are in charge of all these things. It's a balancing act. But young players need to play if you want to maximize what you get from them on or off the pitch. And unless this move is unreported subsequent moves, then it doesn't benefit Casadei because he's not going to play anywhere near as much as he would have done at Leicester. It doesn't benefit Chelsea's desire to sell him. It might benefit Poch, but probably on a really low level, but we'll see. The one thing that I just don't quite get to is discuss just how much everything needs to revolve around the needs of the men's first team results. You know, ordinarily that's kind of, you know, the priority, but there are cases where you need to think outside of that for the good of the club. And it's really important how you handle talent development through the academy, the loan journey. You know, they're connected to the men's first team. It absolutely is. It's not necessarily directly and not necessarily right now, but, you know, what you do and don't do dictates what you're forced to do down the road. And this is the job of the sporting directors. And right now, it just feels like they haven't really handled so far the development of a lot of these younger players, particularly the ones going out on loan. They're not really handling that shit very well. If I'm being totally honest about the situation, I just don't see him playing that much. I really don't. Yes, you know, Chelsea might believe in him as huge potential, but, you know, he's had half a season on loan at Reading. He's had half a season on loan at Leicester. And yes, he's done very well for the Italian age group sides, but I just don't see how that equates to being able to be useful for Chelsea in the first team squad for the second half of the season. The maths is not mathing. I'm just not understanding it. Yes, I understand the injuries to Ugochukwu and Lavia could be worse than first fit, and we need a bit of cover, and it's easier to bring someone back than try and go and sign someone else, of course. But in terms of personal development for Casadei, I just don't see how this really works out or turns out very well for him at all. He's hardly going to play. He'll be called on in an emergency if someone gets injured or suspension, or he'll get like what Gilchrist gets, a few kind of like minutes in injury time here and there. But I'd be surprised if we saw him play 5 games in the second half of the season. I just think we're a little bit confused in the direction of how we're trying to develop these players. Yes, the idea is there, the multi-club model, sign youngsters, play them on a regular basis, throughout the loan system to different multi-clubs and maybe sell them for a profit, and the very best ones will come and play for the football club. I get that, but right now we're not in a position to be doing that. We don't have the facilities, we don't have enough clubs. And yeah, it's just all a little bit confusing. But guys, those are my thoughts on Cesare Casadei being recalled from his loan at Leicester City. Chelsea believe he can make an impact in the first team squad. I need to be convinced otherwise. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Smash the likes as always. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. And I'm out of here.